Hey everybody, I'm Michelle Vandepas with Grace Point Publishing, and today I've got Drew Gerber from Wasabi Publicity with me. We sort of met randomly over the internet and bonded over House Hunters International, but that's a whole different story. You're gonna love Drew. He doesn't know what I'm going to ask him today. This is totally impromptu, and we're just going to go for it. So happy you're here today and you're willing to just go along with the flow.
I love it. Those are my favorite kind of interviews. Let's see what shows up.
Okay. So you're a publicity expert. And
Yes.
so I just want to start there because, in the
Oh.
past, I've worked with publicity places and they like work really hard to get you on something like CBS This Morning or whatever that show's called. And
Yeah.
it feels like that sort of doesn't work anymore and it's all turned its way upside down and there's this whole new thing called publicity. You agree with that?
I do. Yes, we
Talk
started
to
with
me.
we
So
well
what
we
is
started
publicity today?
we started with well, my business partner used to say, she's seen a publicity transition from typewriter to Twitter, but now Elon bought it and it's X that quite doesn't work anymore. So it's a completely different world in the last 25 years since we've been to PR. Like you said, it used to be the name of the game was to land Good Morning America, CBS This Morning, The Today Show, New York Times. Those kind of venues were the place. And if you landed them, it meant that you would have a bestseller because there was such a limited opportunity for people. So people were actually paying attention to those media at the time. Now the number of channels and where people are getting their news is like hundreds of thousands of times that. So it's really is a different world. And I was just talking to a potential client today where I was like, it used to be our job was getting it. Now a lot of the time our job is actually vetting opportunities for our clients because they're super busy to make sure that it is going to move the dial for them.
Right. Now you
Yeah.
specialize with authors or everybody?
So we really work with people who are committed to doing good in the world and they want to be seen as an expert or in a particular field or arena, and we position that expertise in the media. There's always two questions we need to answer. Why should the media care and why they should care right now? And that's really what a book does. I think it's really hard even today to be seen as an expert without a book.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would agree with that.
Yeah.
So let's pretend that we're talking with my audience, most of whom already has a book. Not everybody,
Yeah.
but let's
Yeah.
pretend they have a book.
Yeah.
You know, it used to be sort of TikTok, or before that, it was Instagram. Some of our people are on Facebook. I'm not sure any of that's working anymore. Are we going to podcasting, blog reviews? Where are we going to help get the word out?
Yeah, it's really interesting because I am talking to major influencers with huge followings on all of those platforms, and it isn't moving the dial, unfortunately, these days. And what is moving the dial is really podcast. That's people are paying attention to those, people are listening to those. I want to be clear though, you still have to have those numbers in order to get the podcast. That's
So
the
what does that
double-edged.
mean? Okay, what does that mean?
So you actually still have to have a social media presence in order to get high level podcast.
Okay,
So you can't throw like if clients come to us and they're like they've got like 1,000 fans, followers, whatever it is, one of the first things we have to do for them is bolster it up to they've got like 10,000 on at least one platform, so they're seen as a micro influencer if they want coveted top tier podcast placements or any media placements, as a matter of fact.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that brings up so many questions. So I started on Facebook.
Yes.
My following's on Facebook.
Yeah.
I have really tried to push myself to TikTok and Instagram and LinkedIn, and I just fall back to what's comfortable for me. I think most of us do that, right? We go with what's comfortable.
We do.
Do I need to go boost my following on these other platforms?
So what I always tell clients is really focus on one platform and build from there. I don't recommend neglecting the other platforms per se, but a lot really depends on your brand and your platform. I personally really like if it's B2C, Facebook is my favorite. The reason it's the only platform where you can still create awareness and educate people. Education is not happening on TikTok and it's not really happening on Instagram. For sure not in Instagram. That's the Instagram life. The only caveat to that is if you're going more B2B, LinkedIn is the place to be then. So those are my two favorite for our kind of clients that are committed because most of them have a message that they want to, it's not necessarily educate, but enlighten people, create insights for, and there's more of a conversation happening on those two platforms.
Okay. So a lot of my authors don't like social media. They're like burned out from it. It's
Yeah.
like, you're
Yeah.
you're across the world from me right now. I believe you're in
Yeah.
Hungary,
Yeah.
Budapest today, right? The US is a
Yeah.
mess. No matter what you think about anything on any
Yes.
political or healthcare or educational perspective, it's a mess. And
Yes.
everybody's just like, oh my God, don't let me don't let me turn on social right now. What do
Yeah.
we do?
Yeah, I feel for you. I thank God every day that I'm in Budapest, Hungary. I'm actually flying back to the States Thursday, and I'm like, oh no, do I really have to go back to the wedding?
Yeah, well, you'll have fun at a wedding. You'll have
Yes,
fun.
we'll have fun in the wedding, and then I fly to Vegas to be with my parents because they're juvenile delinquents. So it will be fun, but it'll be in and
That'll be
out.
super fun. Yeah, good.
It's a bubble in and of itself, right? It's
Yeah.
not really like, yeah. But here's the thing is it's really important. Social media is really important. I think you have to find a way to actually have it work for you. So I do feel like I think it's good to set boundaries, right? I do think consistency wins the day, but don't go down the rabbit hole, right, of those social media, but do it consistently. Now, one of the things is I'm not a huge fan, and I hesitate to say this, but AI can make a huge difference with this.
So you're not a huge fan, but it can make a
I
difference. What do you mean?
AI,
Good or
I'm like,
bad?
here's the thing is AI for me is one of those kind of like I think we need to use it consciously. Let's just put it that way. But I find that AI really helps people really organize what they want to say. And then you can bring your humanness to it, but it kind of takes the roteness away, which makes it easier for some people.
Okay, that sounds like my love-hate relationship with Amazon.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Yes, right. It's kind of like one of those things. I mean, we're going down the rabbit hole, right? The question is, how far are you going down, and do you need it? But I think for some authors, I think what a lot of them are is they think of social media and they kind of get a little paralyzed about what to say, how to make it interesting. I tell people to think about social media as a reality TV show. And creating a timeline and a journey that you're taking people on as you're sharing the information. Instead of 30-minute segments, you're doing like bite-sized segments, but it is taking people on a journey. And there's something that does in the mind of people, particularly authors, where something clicks for them, where it's not like I need to soundbite something. It's like I'm telling a story over time.
Okay, that's interesting. That helps. Yeah.
Yeah, and I do think that if you can really reframe it in a way that actually where it's you are telling the story in bite-sized pace, so you're telling it like three sentences at a time, so to speak.
Okay. All right.
Rather than just dumping stuff out there, like that's
Right.
where I think I get it and it does feel like noise, but I do think when people are conscious about that, I think people resonate, and that's what has engages your followers to keep being engaged. Yeah.
Okay. So podcasting might move the needle. You
Yes.
got to have a social media presence or an
Yes.
email presence. One of the
Yeah.
things I used to teach all the time was have a PDF download for opt-in. I
Yeah.
feel people are burned out on that, but is that still working?
What we're finding is winning the day, number one is quizzes.
Yeah.
Number one, quizzes, like by
Okay.
far, like a landslide. The other thing is like if you can give them mini experiences, like meditations or like a talk or something works a little bit better than PDFs do.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So a little more interactive, a
A
little more
little more interactive. Yeah, like
engaging. Got
something
it.
like yeah, like and something that's bite-sized, but something because look, the emails now are currency, right? To give your emails, you got to get something really of high value because we know what's going to come on the back end is a lot of emails in our box. So yeah, you need to think about what is really valuable, and that's where it's really good to know your audience and what your audience really loves. Yeah.
Good point. And
Yeah.
and a hint, just a hint for anyone listening, what I do is I have my assistant send me the email first so it shows up in my inbox and I see whether or not I'd even open it. Like I look at the subject line, I look
Smart.
at how it falls with all my other emails. Like, am I going to open this? Right?
Smart.
And if I see it in my box and I just scroll past, I know no one else is going to open it either.
That is brilliant.
But it
Yeah.
is sort of an experimentation these days
Yes.
because we're trying to get to 25% open rate if we can, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Which is it's
75% of the people aren't even ever going to open your email.
it is, and I love that is a brilliant suggestion, and it is an experiment, right? And you have to, I think people forget that they're talking to human beings,
Yeah.
and they turn them into commodities. And I think that that's where we really where it goes south for a lot of people is turning people into commodities versus, hey, there's a human being over there that with wants, desires, passions that you can make a difference for. And what is it that you can really provide for them and serve them? That is going being a human being and our humanness is going to be one of the most powerful things that we can do to get our message out there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So one of the things that uh, I agree with podcasting. Like you got to get
Yeah.
on podcasts. So, and you're
Yeah.
saying you can build your email list, you got to build your social.
Yeah.
Now, some of our authors have maybe been on one, two podcasts or not been on any. I say go get on 10 beginning podcasts and just practice the heck out of it and just
Yes.
pretend no one's going to listen and no one's going to download it, right? Because I
Yes.
find that if you don't have experience, you'll talk yourself into a hole
Yes.
or the host will take you down a rabbit hole.
Yep. Yep.
And so
Yes.
just getting on 10 podcasts that you know no one's going to listen to will give you some confidence to help navigate both of those.
I think that's a brilliant suggestion. Yeah. It is a matter, it's getting on the court, right? You just can't look in the stands and think about it. You've got to get on the court because then you're going to actually see what you say. You're going to just keep honing your message. And look, being a great interviewer or interviewee is an art. Like it's like something that needs to be practiced. And I think that's a brilliant suggestion. Get on podcasts, go see how you do, because then you know where you need to take ground and where you need to do work.
Okay. So one more thing on this podcast, then I'm going to move on.
Yeah.
You can't really just get on and talk about your book. You got to talk about the message or something bigger than just selling the book, right?
Yes, this is the one thing that I get on my soapbox about. It is not about you. It is not about the book. It is about the value you're bringing to their listeners. And you have to really be thinking about that before. What value are you going to be leaving for them? So that's so important to prepare for your interviews. Is what's the value you're going to be leaving for that audience? The more you can do the homework to know about the podcast, even if it's a small podcast or about the host, the better are the better you are to will be able to serve them. And that's what
Okay.
it comes down to, serving them. Yeah.
So let's give our listeners and watchers a takeaway from this. Um, So my new book, I'll give a plug to my book, Divine and
Yeah,
Dangerous. You're going to be
yeah,
helping me promote that later this
yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Is about really stepping into your power and not being afraid of who you are. So how do I frame that in a way? I'm going to get some free coaching here, I hope, Drew. But how do like I want to give our audience like a takeaway. How do you know if that is helpful or serving your client or your audience out there, your listener? How do you frame that in go by my book to I want everybody to know that their power can be scary, but you still step into it. Like, what questions should I ask myself to make sure I'm framing it correctly?
What's one thing that those audience members can do to experience that right
Ooh.
then?
Okay, everybody write that down. What's one thing your
One,
audience members
yeah,
can
can
do?
experience right now or that day that's going to leave them, with an experience of your message.
All right, I'm going to think about that. I encourage everybody else to write that down and think about that. All
Yeah.
right. Authors sometimes are introverts, right? They may say they're introverts. They don't want to be
Yeah.
on social, they don't want to be on podcasting. Does blogging work? Does guest blogging work? Do guest articles work? Does Medium still exist? Do we have to go on Substack? I'm in overwhelm just talking about all the options here.
So what we're finding right now for our introvert clients, Substack.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, do you do I have to go like create my own Substack? I'm not on Substack, so educate me. Can I be a guest on someone else's
Uh,
Substack? Can I get interviewed?
I think that if you're truly an introvert and you want to build a campaign, yes, you need to go a platform like Substack. You need to get out there and you need to be putting out content consistently and putting out content on your own Substack, other people's Substack, articles written, like you need to be constantly writing and putting it out there if you truly want to just write and market, but consistency wins the day.
Okay, again, you said this earlier. I'm going to circle back around. Choose one platform, be consistent before you
Yeah.
break out into others. You
Yes,
can
for
be on the
sure.
others, but start with one, be consistent, right?
Start one and I recommend you really do research. There are other platforms out there. We haven't used them. And my team has brought them to me, but so far we've stuck with Substack because for our clients, it's really most of our clients are thought leaders, and so Substack makes sense.
All right. How do I get my book into an influential TikToker, or does it matter?
So it depends on the demographic that you're going after, right? That's another thing. You need to know who, I talk to authors, they're like, everybody. Well, no. Who do you want to get your books in whose hands? And you need to know what they pay attention to. And that's really where you need to make sure your book is placed. If they're paying attention to TikTokers, they're probably younger, and it may be that going to influential, after influencers, that's a hard row to hoe just
Okay.
because the reason is because most of those influencers are making money, it becomes advertising. So they're going to want some kind of compensation to promote your book.
And the book isn't enough.
Very rarely, unless it really is something that, transforms their life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Do you work with helping us get reviews?
We don't.
Okay.
We
Awesome.
don't. Yeah, so what we do, so we're different than book publicist and book PR, which goes after reviews, sends out galley copies. We focus on you. Those are two different kinds of PR, and we work. So here's what I say about PR. If you just want to sell books, don't invest in PR. It's never going to pay off with book sales. So you want to do PR if you're building a brand or a platform, and that is going to be the launching pad, or it's reinforcing your brand or your platform, and you have other services and products to offer. That's the only way that PR really pays for itself is in that case.
Yeah, interesting, because I would say the same thing about a book. So by
Yes.
the time, whether you're paying a publisher like myself for services or you're out there being your own contractor, you got to pay for editing, you got to pay
Yep.
for the book cover, you got to pay for good layout and design, some initial marketing, all the metadata, everything, right?
Yeah.
So you're either doing it because it's a legacy project, a passion project, something you want to do, you're like really want to get your book out, or you're a writer and you're just writing lots of books because that's who you
Yep.
are, right?
Yep.
Or you're building something and the book is
Yeah.
part of that foundation. And
Yes.
so I'm agreeing with you here that your book can also be the catalyst to help make money on the back end. So the PR that you're talking about and the
Yes.
book can work together to get you paid speaking engagements or high-end clients or fill your retreats or whatever
Yes.
else you're going for.
Yes, for sure. And that's where PR pays off in spades, is that one placement can actually pay off, work for you for the next 10 years. Truthfully, the
Yeah,
right placement can do that. But yes, exactly. It's the combination of a book, which is, like I said, the two questions we have to answer, why and why now. The book is the why now for the media, and really using that as a springboard to really build or solidify your brand where you've got the product offerings or you want to create a movement, right? You want to get it out there in a big way. Then that's where PR really comes into play. And I feel the same with the book. Yes, there are people out there making money as authors. It's
yeah, for
a
sure.
hard road to hoe, but you could do
Yep.
that for sure. But most of the people that we work with, the book is really their calling card.
Yeah.
It's really to get people in so people get to know them. That's really when it makes sense to really hire a publicist. Other book marketing, if you just want to sell books, which we do, that's advertising. We do Amazon
Right.
ads, we do those kind
Right.
of things different than PR.
Reviews, book
Yep.
awards, all those kinds
Yep.
of
All
things.
of those kind
Yeah.
of things,
And
yes.
that's more what a publisher can help with, really.
Most publishers, yes. So when we work with someone and they've got a publisher, the publisher usually sends out galleys for reviews
Yep.
and then awards and those kind of things. That's generally what the publisher does. That's why publishing, PR, perfect hand in. When they work together, it's pure magic, truthfully.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's where the really magic, because you get everything. You get this really holistic campaign where it's truly magical when those two work hand in hand.
Yeah. One of the things I think is so interesting is all the different price points for PR. Right? Same,
Yes.
same for book publishing. I have
Yes.
someone who just came to me and said, well, I got offered, somebody told me that they could publish my book for 750 bucks. I'm like, yeah, they can, but you're not going
Yeah.
to get what I offer,
Right.
right? Which
Yes.
is, for many thousands of dollars more, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Because you get what you pay for, but there's nothing
For sure.
wrong with that $750 offer.
No.
You're getting exactly what you're paying for. So I don't say that in a derogatory way.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I think PR is the same. Like I have had clients and myself, I've paid $20,000 for something and
Yes.
I've paid $500 for a quick social media blast.
Yes.
Talk to me about how do you know what you're getting for the price? Like,
Mhm.
it-
That's so we're on the low end. And we know we're on the low end, and we consciously chose that because we work with people committed to making a difference and they want their money to go to places like making a difference. So I think that right now, I think to get a solo publicist, you're probably around $3,500 a month. And then agencies, you start getting into the $500 to $7,500 per month.
yeah, yeah,
Now, one of the things to ask them is who am I going to be working with? Because notoriously in our industry, what happens is a senior person will bring you in and then hand you off to a junior person.
right.
That is notorious. So
Hairdressers do that. Drives me crazy.
they do. So you want to
Yeah.
ask, so what I always tell, if you're looking for a PR company, right, there's three things. One is, are their philosophies a match? Because you've got to have the same ethos, I find, because they're going to be your voice in the world. That's very important. What kind of clients do they work with? Are they similar to you? And what results have they produced recently? And are those the results you want? Those are the three questions I always tell people. Those are what you want to ask when you're looking for a PR company.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, and so I know you have a monthly price point. Like, can we just be transparent and talk about
For
it? Or
sure. So yes, so we have a podcast only campaign, which is $2,500 a month. And for that, we do the positioning. We create your online press kit, which gives the podcast everything they need to do the story on you, your book, as well as you get to log in the back end and see what's happening with your PR campaign, which is great because that's a frustration for a lot of people is what's happening with my PR campaign.
right,
This way they get
right.
to do that. And then we go out there and we build relationships with the podcasters that's going to move the dial for you. So we do the vetting, we find them. And we're not a one and done. We really try to build relationship with podcasters that are going to have you on for the next 5 or 10 years. So
Yeah,
you're in the Rolodex, yes. And then it goes printed online is 3,500. And then full service is $5,000 a month, and that includes TV. I'm not recommending TV for very many people these days.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what, so the question, I'm asking questions that my clients would ask me, right?
Yes, perfect. I love it.
Yeah. What do I get for my 2,500? So I'm getting a press kit. I get to log in. Am I going to get a podcast?
So you absolutely will get a podcast. We do earn medias. We can't guarantee anything. We actually generally average around 4 to 6 podcasts per month. Now, those are going to be mid to top tier podcasts.
Okay.
So just to be clear, they're not like no one's paying attention. And we do a lot of vetting for those. Yes.
Okay. So for anyone who's listening, watching, if you have not been on podcasts before, go get on your 10 practice podcasts before you
Yep.
engage with Drew, right?
Yeah.
Start building. Now he can help you build your audience, but start building it. Take in everything he said here about choosing a platform, going for it, get interactive, build a story, all this great advice, and then engage with Drew. Like, as much as I want to like help my clients, there's a time.
There is a time. Let me just say one caveat. One of the things that we do is we actually, if they want to do create an online press kit, so we take them through the brand. If they're not clear about their positioning, the value they're going to bring, and what to actually pitch a podcast, we can actually do an online press kit for them where we do the branding, the message, the online press kit, and we'll give them 10 pitches for the podcast to start out with. If they want kind of like a starter package, they're like, I'm not sure how to position myself to the podcasters. They can go through that process, and then they're part of our database for a month, year.
Okay, super cool. So is that
Yeah,
like a lower end entry point for beginning
it's
people, or is it the same?
it's $3,500, but
Okay,
you get everything in the press kit, plus you get all of your pitches, plus you get
got it.
everything for you to do it. So it's kind of so it can be a little bit daunting for people, like, how do I pitch? What do I pitch? Like, how do I do that? So with the press kit, we do that. Plus, we give you our book, How to Launch a PR Campaign in 21 Days, which is just a step by step of how they can go out and get it. Because it can be even that first step can be daunting.
Drew, you have a book. We have to
I do.
talk.
We do, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Great, 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 great. So should I just give up on the TV idea? Not me personally, but I'm just asking generally. I heard you say most people shouldn't be on TV.
Well, so I'm not recommending TV for a lot of people now, unless you have a platform that's just perfectly well designed for morning shows.
Yeah. Okay.
So
What
it
about,
really depends. And if you're going after, you gotta think about your demographic. Are your people sitting there watching TV morning shows?
Okay, raise your hand if you are.
I can't remember I literally can't remember the last time I watched TV unless I was happened to be like in Serbia and the TV came on and it's like, like, but I didn't watch it. But I have not
Right.
watched TV forever. So you got to think about get in the mindset of your people and what are they paying attention to. And these days, not many people are paying attention to TV. People still watch it, but particularly if you're, boomers, great.
I don't know. I'm a boomer and I've switched to Hulu and I'm
You were
watching
watching.
The Bear, The Bear,
Yes,
and they're like,
you're a super young boomer. So,
yeah,
my
maybe.
parents are an older boomer, and they still do watch TV. Not a lot. It's still like whatever. I don't even know what it's called, where they can record it, like, and then watch it on demand, kind of
Like,
thing.
yeah, on demand, like direct
Yeah,
TV or
yeah,
something.
direct TV like on demand, but it's not like it's like TV, but they still watch they still have their
Yeah,
shows. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What haven't we talked about, Drew?
I think you covered everything, and I really love that we've had the conversation of who PR is good for or right for and who it's not. I really am a big proponent. It's the right, there's a right time for PR, and it's not, a lot of people just think, and I see a lot of people trying to see it sell PR out there you got a book, you need PR. It's not the case, always.
Right. And I will say, as a publisher, if you've self-published your book or worked with somebody else, we got to make sure that the book itself is positioned correctly. The Amazon page, the metadata, the reviews, all the places that libraries and bookstores look at.
Yep.
And so I do consulting around that. And we should do that before you go hang out with Drew.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, it's laying the foundation, and that's the like the publicist hand, the two hands together, which really creates magic. Because if you don't lay that foundation there and you do a PR, it's really all for naught. People can't find you. They go to the Amazon page, it's not aligned. There's like you basically are throwing money down the drain.
yeah,
Yeah,
don't do
yeah.
that.
Don't do
None of us can do that. Okay,
that.
awesome. Thank you so much. It's been
You're
awesome
welcome. Thank you.
having you here in my sunroom today. And
Thank you.
we'll talk again soon.
Okay, great. Brilliant. Thank you so much.